Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for your support of Indie Agency News. And let's meet an indie agency. We're going to the DMV. And I'm not talking about the Department of Motor Vehicles. Chris, please explain what the DMV is.
It is the sweet spot in the United States, the DC area, although it's a bit odd these days and has been for a while, but proud to be from there, even though we're mostly remote. And so the wonderful DC capital is where we hail from.
DC, Maryland, Virginia. If one of my favorite artists in the world is a hip hop artist named Odyssey, Oddisee. I think I got the spelling right. Amazing. He's from the DMV. He loves the DMV.
Nice.
And you will love, if you like conscious hip hop, he's your guy. But I digress. We are here to talk about Model B. First of all, thank you so much for your support of our mission. And I really want to get into the background of the agency. Give us a little thumbnail about you and how the agency got started.
Yeah, I mean, the agency's actually been around since 2016. It's worth noting that, like many agencies, it was kind of, doing yeoman's work, trying its best to, make a difference for clients, but didn't really have a strong point of view. I actually joined the board about a year and a half before leading the agency, which I started at the beginning of 23. And we repositioned as a growth marketing agency, which begs the question, as opposed to what?
Right.
But the reality is that a lot of times agencies say they do it, but don't really dig into that. So we actually take a management consulting front-end approach. And what that allows us to do is to understand how the client makes money. What are the forces for good and evil internally and externally that are affecting their business? And then, and only then, can we see where marketing can apply. The other distinction with us is that, we're a small team. We're like 12 people. And purposely so. The notion of, I grew up in the big holding company agencies, which I loved as a kid, but as an adult, it's hard. It's hard. When what's the job number is the first question, not is that a good brief,
Yeah.
That's where Model B comes into play. And so we actually deliver through a small internal team, but a huge external group we call the Partner Collective.
Right.
And that's our model.
What's the job?
I know, right? And then the best and brightest are tied up for like 6 months. You're like, when is Susie going to be available for the CRM project? I need somebody really good.
What's the job number?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm having a Martin Agency flashback. Oh my God. Lovely people there though. I love it.
Yes, indeed.
You threw me, dude. All right. So we've talked about what the agency is best known for, and you've touched on a few things on core strengths. And listen, every agency has a list of proficiencies, but usually 1, 2, or 3 things really rise to the top. What would you say those 3 things are?
Yeah, it's a great question. Our focus is really that first, kind of step, that move to understand how they, operate. What are the things that affect them? And what's amazing is that helps us not only write what we call a success plan and get clients vested in it, but it also helps us help them connect to the C-suite. So that's our kind of superpower one. Our second is, because of our business model, we have precise talent. And so we're not using like a B team, C team. We're using the best at whatever discipline is necessary. So that in the Partner Collective allows us to do that. And then third is the, kind of real commitment to a success plan. Why? Because success matters. Being clear about what that looks like and is in a factual and being able to look at the data around that and the qualitative context around that, and getting clients vested in it. Agencies don't get fired when they deliver what everybody agreed, would be a success, right? So it just kind of tracks. If you say, we're going to do these 8 things, we're going to measure them, and then you do that, then like, okay, it's going to lead to more. So that's kind of, those are our kind of top 3 things.
I've decided to invoke a rule on your interview. before I ask this next question, you have to
Yeah.
throw another holding company saying or something out. All right, please. It's like a game. It unlocks.
I like it. I'm
question.
down.
All right, go ahead. So we started with what's the job number? All right, what's the next one?
Oh man, I think the thing that I love about the holding company dynamic is that I remember being told many times early on in my career, but I never understood it until I got a little further in, is always make sure you're billable. Like don't never be
all right. Always make sure you're billable.
Don't be a cost center, right? It's astounding.
By the way, I didn't call it a cost center. I said I was a good investment.
Right.
Which I was. All right. So next question. Why is being indie important to you and the team?
The ability to do better work, more precise work, to work with a more diverse and interesting collection of of people. The only way we know to do that today is through a model that's like what we're leveraging. And it's not to say that the holding companies and the big, as a friend of mine calls them, the big dumb holding companies, don't have a place. I think they do, sure. But the opportunity to work with, in essence, a movie making model where we get to build the right team for every need and to leverage that precision. It's just a lot more interesting. It takes a lot of the drama out of the equation. So it's more fun to get to better work that way. So, right. To us, it's a requirement, fundamental requirement. And now that said, we actually do work with some agencies that are parts of networks.
Sure. Yeah. But this is all in jest and in fun.
Yeah, that's right.
I like the movie making model, because you're right. That's like, you will bring your cinematographer, you will bring your whatever. That's interesting. That's a really very interesting. No, you're working with it's fine. It's fine. Holding companies are people too. All right, next one before we unlock the next question, please.
Well, I think one of my favorite things was having a holding company CEO that's been in the position for like 45 years sit across the table from me and say, "You'll be our next CEO for this organization. This is my commitment to you. This is how this is going to go." Only to find out 3 months later that his president of the division called me to say, "I wanted to give you a day's notice prior to the announcement of the new global CEO coming into play." And
so as he was talking to you, this was behind his back.
Oh my God. Like, honestly, he must just have it permanent.
Okay,
he might have a tramp stamp that looks like that,
Oh my God. Okay. That's plenty to unlock this question. What's the main reason a brand should work with you?
Honestly, it's because we're going to bring a precise approach to getting to the solution and have it scale. We're strategic first, we're superpower second. And what I mean by that superpower is we're delivering the level of thinking and the precision through a combination of internal and external resources that's impossible to, it doesn't. There are other agencies that can do it.
Sure.
And certainly do, but what we have the ability to do is, in every case, match the right resource with the need, regardless of what it is or where it is globally. So, I think that's really it. Beyond that, we have fun at what we do. We also are very careful to not work with clients that are like, we had a conversation with a client earlier today where we vetted them. Mm-hmm. It's a prospect, not a client, but we vetted them around their budget dynamics and how they're funded. And because honestly, what we don't want is this feast or famine dynamic where they're constantly, just a cost center inside their organization.
Right.
Exactly. You can't help them. It's not a marketing problem.
Nope. It is not. All right. I like the idea of precision. That's super solid. All right. I'll give you a theme on this next one. Timesheets.
Oh my God.
Okay, that's all you need. Question 3. Why, or block 3? Why should talent be putting the agency on their list?
Well, I'll tell you, aside from timesheets, you'll never hear from us that it's a mandatory return to office. It's,
Okay, good segue.
It's just not. Well, I think we actually have very clear values
Sure.
and our kind of tenets, if you will, and that is a self-selecting mechanism. We're not right for everybody, nor should we be. But we're right for those that align with those things. And we want, we have a very purposeful ingredient strategy. We want people that are, going to add to the flavor of Model B and to our partner collective. What we don't want is this homogenized kind of collection of people that are all sound the same, act the same, wear the same, underwear, etc. I mean, it's just, there's no, this is not an AI mechanism.
Right.
It's an organic being that cares an awful lot and will put people first. So, that's ultimately why.
Yeah. The uniform. My friend in England, in London, he likes to reference the gilet, the vest.
Yeah. Right. Yes.
What you're in DC. What's the like sartorial preference there? It's kind of old school, isn't it? Like,
yeah, I mean, you see, everybody's got a blazer at hand, the
Brooks Brothers kind of vibe.
Exactly. Although, I mean, it's changing constantly. I think it's moving towards a less, permanent press model.
Right.
I know we certainly do play that way, but I remember working in San Francisco at Hal Riney Partners and
oh shit.
And how I remember sitting with Scott Marshall, the CEO at the time, and I remember interviewing actually. And one of the things he said to me that like totally broke my brain and made me feel so much more like a potential human living out my, like this is the place I need to be,
right, with
Scott and the team and Hal and everybody. He said, buddy, I've never met anybody that's smarter because of the way they're dressed. I remember thinking, dude, like that just like solved a problem that I've been like looking around trying to figure out for a long time. And I think that's really key,
Well, if no, I'll save that. That's a political statement. All right. We're on to the next question. We're going to unlock it. The theme here will be stock options.
Oh gosh. Yeah. I mean, my favorite is the degree to which you can call it different things. It's sometimes equity, sometimes it's phantom shares, sometimes it's stock options. The amount of paper that in the street term that I've touched or owned that has had less value than toilet paper. I mean, it's just
try working in radio. All right. All right. Do you consider yourselves weirdos, misfits, or underdogs, and why is that?
We're probably more weirdos than anything.
Oh yeah. I didn't track.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you why though, because unlike most agencies that are really focused in, like let's get a brief done and let's get to let's get to work. We start with a management consulting like perspective, and in some respects, I think in the halls of advertising, that's antithetical almost. It's like because consultants have a bad rap, and justifiably so in some circles, because they produce a very expensive report that nobody can work against. Right? It's not it's not useful. But we're weird in that we thrive in understanding the dynamics there to then put it in a play that actually informs a better brief. And in many cases, it tells us what to stop. And
interesting.
That's super helpful, right?
Right. Oh my God. I've always said like the one, and this has always been a tough thing for me, but over time I've learned it, and it's really important. The most underrated trait in this industry is restraint.
Yep. Yeah. I grew up in the Ogilvy system and did account management training. And one of the things that's in my standard pattern of that is we get paid more for saying no. And it's really yes and. But
also a member in Washington, D.C.
There you go. There you go.
I love how you bring it back.
Keeping it local, man. Keeping it indie. But it's true. I mean, the problem is with 33 or more, depending on which math you look at, 33,000 advertising agencies in the U.S. There's a lot of people that are saying yes, and that leads to a bad result a lot of times. Saying no, but what if, or yes and getting to a better result is frankly what we owe our clients and ourselves. I mean, because our number one asset as an agency is always the impact we've made for others, and so to me that's like essential.
All right, final question here. I'm just trying to think of a theme that we can go with. Alex Bogusky's hair.
Oh my God. I don't know. I think we have to take that to his diet book, right? What is it? The 6-inch plate? I mean, somehow they're got to be related.
All right. There's got to be an Ogilvy one. Oh, drinking the Kool-Aid. There you go.
Yes. Drinking the Kool-Aid. I guess the reality is you always drink the Kool-Aid. The question is now the Kool-Aid's turned into mushroom coffee. And things are constantly being reinvented, but that one just mystifies me. I don't, something about the mud that's actually mushroom derived is a striking one, but I don't know, man. I don't know where you're going there. That one, you got me on that one, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. Then I was starting to, since I'm in the Northwest, you said mushrooms. So, all right. Well, that was a bad question. I'm allowed at least 1 or 2 or 3 shitty questions.
All good, man.
Yeah. All right. Let's close with this. Which CMO or marketer do you want to say hi to, whether they are a client or not?
It's not a person yet, although we have a list we're starting, but healthcare is so broken and so dysfunctional and so screwed up. I mean, sadly, they're killing people because of it. But aside from that tragedy, it does need to get fixed in a dramatic way. So we're actively looking for healthcare brands that we can actually help care, being the operative word, instead of and you can care and make money. I think that's a misnomer that you can only do one or the other. Right. So to me, that's the big opportunity, and it would be a great calling card for Model B to be known for in the future.
Chris, I appreciate number one, your support of this mission. Number two, I appreciate your support of an on-the-fly game that we decided to throw in there, holding company musings. And listen, it's so great having you part of this. I love your point of view, and I wish you nothing but the best going forward, man.
Doug, thanks for you doing this, man. I'll tell you that we need more carrying the torch and bringing light to it. So I appreciate what you're doing and glad to be a part of it.
Right on. Thanks, man.